Hi everybody. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys all about color curves, curve atlases, what you can do with them, and how you use them. So the first thing that we want to do when we're making a curve or a curve atlas is, well, I've already made one here, but I'll make another one. We open up this menu, we go to miscellaneous, and then curve. It's going to ask you curve color or editable curve. We want the curve color. And so this example, what we're going to do is we're going to make a custom material for a health bar with a nice green gradient that you can make entirely within UEFN, and you don't need any external programs like Blender. So the first thing that we're going to do is, I already have a health one, so we're going to call this one shield, if I can spell. And when we open that up, it's going to show this menu right here. So this is the curve of your material, of your gradient. So we can set this to like a nice blue. We can set this to another blue. See, that looks pretty good. This is a good shield bar, I would say. And that's all you need to do. You could set more by clicking. If you wanted to have it fade to green for whatever reason, you want a darker blue, whatever you might want to do, you can add as many as you want, and you can blend them however you please. Just right click and just remove the stop here. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go into our health bar. Sorry for the weird time inconsistency. I'm recording this after the fact because I completely forgot to record how to make a curve atlas. So when you go in to your menu, you will be making, down in miscellaneous, you'll be making a curve atlas. I've already made one, but I'll just make another one. I'll just call this UI colors. This will be all of our different UI colors. I don't know. And when you open it up, it's going to be only a 1 pixel long texture, because with a gradient, horizontally the colors will differ, but vertically the colors are not going to differ. So you only need 1 pixel for it to have the full range of colors and still be useful to you, and also be as small as possible in your game. And now to add these curves that you have made in the previous part of the video, obviously I have a lot more since this is a after the fact part, but we're going to go down here and we're going to go to gradient curves, and we are just going to add the one that we made called shield. And when you make more, you'll just add them down here. You can add the health one, you can add the storm one, and what this is it's basically just taking every single gradient that you have and it's smushing it all into one texture. And when you use the parameter, it's just going to be asking you, okay, what part of that atlas are you going to use? This is the atlas that you want. This is all the curves that are a part of it. Now, which one do you want to use? All right, back to present me. Now when we open up our material, we're going to want to add the curve atlas row parameter. We can just call this atlas curve. This will just be our parameter that we can use during our instances. When we connect this, you're going to get an error because it doesn't know what the heck to do. Down here, you're going to say the atlas. Okay, which collection of gradients do you want to use in this set? I want to use my atlas. All right, cool. Which gradient within the atlas do you want to use for this material? I want to use the health. And then awesome, it is all working nice and dandy. And these are the nodes that you will need. It is super simple. You need a texture coordinate and a regular scalar. If you don't know how to do that, you hold down 1 and then you press, boom, you've got a scalar parameter. And then you need the custom rotator. The scalar will give you the angle that you want to have it rotated to between 0 and 1. So 90-degree turn is only 25% of a full circle, so that would be reflected as 0.25. And then you want to mask, and you just want to have the green ticked, and when you plug it into the curve, it looks exactly as you would think. If you want to have this the opposite way, have the lighter side go towards the other side, we can change the direction. We could do 0.75, and now it's facing the other way, but I want to keep it like this. And if we apply, and let me delete this actually, and then we take this material and we drag it into our HUD. Say, for instance, you had a custom health bar attached to that material. that as you lose health, it grows and shrinks. And this is a great way to add color to it without having to add a large expensive gradient texture. You can just call the gradient the curve color, and you can have a pretty beautiful gradient right there. You can have pretty sick health bar. So if you want to make another one, if you want to use the same thing to make a shield, for example, you'll just take your health bar material and you'll create an instance. And I'll just name this health bar instance. That's going to be the shield. And you open it up. The curve is already a parameter. So we can turn this on, and then we can change it to our shield. And then we can save that. And now we have our duplicate that we can now copy and paste, put this up here, change the brush to now health bar instance. And now we have a pretty sick health and shield. Now obviously you need to add the custom functionality to have them actually move with the player's health. This is purely just aesthetic, but it looks really cool. And you can change it on the fly instead of having to re-import a new gradient from Photoshop, which, you know, doesn't take that long, but it can get in the way of your workflow. We can go to shield. Let's say I don't even like blue. Let's say our shield is going to be red this time around. We can go right in here, and then we can have it taper off as pink, and then we save, and now boom, we have a pink and red shield. And another thing that you can do with it is you can apply it to text within your UI with the font material option on text. So what I've done is I've just made another color curve. We can call this golden. And another resource that I really like is uigradients.com. It's a really good place to find so many nice looking gradients. So we're just gonna try, there's no search bar, I just realized. So let's do the Vice City one. So we start at this one, we just copy that over, and we stick it right here on this end, and then we copy the other side, and we stick it right here. Okay, pretty cool. Now, if we just make the material, this same kind of deal, Atlas curve, oh, we need to add it to our Atlas. Silly me. Curve, go to our Atlas, add a new element to the Atlas, and golden. So now you can see all of them are crammed into this one texture that is only 4 pixels long because we have 4 curves in our array. Now if we go to the font, we can now switch that off from the health one to the golden one, which is not golden anymore. And now we can apply that, go into our UI that we made, wherever I stuck that, that's right here. And we can take out some text. We can call this, welcome to the POI, ta-da. Let me make sure, yes, okay, so make sure that it is user interface and translucent. So when you go to your thing, we can do welcome to the POI. We can have that be really big. And right here in this corner where it shows the font material, you're just going to open that, and we have our font material right here, and it shows the gradient. Now obviously we can go over here and we can change this to 0.5 to have it facing the other way. So now it says welcome to the POI. So another thing that you can do if you don't want to do the actual font itself is you can actually apply it to the gradient as well. So if we let's just do size to content here. We can take this right here, and we can go down to the outline settings, and we can change the outline to the size that we desire, and go to the material, and then just apply it. Now here you might notice that it doesn't actually show up, and that's because the outline color is currently set to black, and what you need to do is you need to set it to white for it to appear. I don't know exactly why, but once you set it to white, that gradient will appear, and of course you can go into this gradient and you can change it to whatever you want at any time. So we can make this another blue one, a very subtle blue. We go back in, boom, welcome to the POI. Super easy, doesn't require any outside tools like Photoshop or Illustrator. One last really cool thing that you can do, which I've been using a lot of my maps for, just this very subtle but very cool pop to your UI is you can actually animate this in a very cool way with only one node. So I actually changed this to a green just so it's pops out easier, but I might even change that even more to an even brighter green and this an even darker blue, just to show you truly the how easy it is to make something that looks super clean. So back in our material, you want a rotator node, and you want to change from a standard just set point to a rotator node. So the rotate node will slowly rotate. To change that, and now it looks very cool. It's like almost like a lava lamp type thing. And now we can stick this into time if we want, and we can set this to a super high time. That's for some reason slower. Oh, right here. Let's do speed of 50, and then just get rid of these. Connect these back up. Yeah, so obviously you don't want to do that. Let's do a speed of 3. You can truly see it right here. This is a very cool effect, and you can combine this with a bunch of different things. You can do a sign. Let's do a sign. Can I go ahead in and just see what it does? Like, yeah, you can do a bunch of crazy things. Part of it is just experimenting with everything. If you guys want a video that goes more in depth into how to make these cool patterns, let me know. I will definitely do some research. But even still, just the rotator plugged in gives this really cool effect, especially if you have kind of a subtle turn and the colors are very close together. It's a very nice blend. I'll show you with the blues. Yeah, it's very cool. And then we can go to our UI. Doesn't look too well on the outline because each individual word, actually each individual letter possibly, is its own little stroke, and that looks a little bit odd. So we can want to do that per se. We can clear this by pressing this arrow and get rid of monospacing, get rid of the outline, and under font material we can do this font, and you can see it's very subtle, but it is in fact moving. And then we can give this a regular outline, and it's a very, very cool effect. Let me do this and then make it black. I use this in a lot of my maps. It looks really good. It adds a lot of pop and a lot of polish. And yeah, that's the video. This is just an introductory tutorial to all things color curves and color atlases. If you want something more in depth, let me know. I can try and make a video on that if you would like. Let me know in the comments as well what you would like for me to cover, whether it be a general tutorial on something or something more specific. I will do my best to try and make tutorials for everything that people request. And make sure to like, subscribe, comment, you know the drill. Follow me on Twitter if you would like to speak with me directly about anything, if I don't read your comment for some reason. And yeah, thank you for watching. All right, call me back. All right, bye.